Welcome to The Explainer. Now, if you've so much as glanced at the news lately, you've definitely seen those breathless headlines warning us about this impending US-China AI arms race. It's almost always framed as this frantic, winner-take-all dash to the finish line. But today, we're going to peel back the hype and look at the actual mechanics of how technological power shifts happen.
I mean, it's the multi-trillion-dollar question, right? Who is actually going to win the AI revolution? Both American and Chinese policymakers are desperately trying to answer this by looking back at past technological revolutions. They're studying history to predict the future. But there is a massive catch here. What if they're learning the completely wrong lessons from history?
Just to give you a sense of the sheer scale we're talking about here, the stakes of the Fourth Industrial Revolution, listen to Kai-Fu Lee, the former head of Google China. He stated that the AI revolution will be on the scale of the Industrial Revolution, but probably larger and definitely faster. The hype is literally off the charts. But to truly understand who comes out on top of all this, we've got to totally rethink how technological dominance is actually built.
Section 1. Myth versus reality. The innovation illusion. All right, so here is the absolute crux of the debate. On one side, we have the myth, the leading sector or LS mechanism. This theory claims that the country that dominates the innovation of a brand new industry captures all the monopoly profits and just becomes the most productive economy. But on the other side, we have the reality, the general purpose technology or GPT mechanism. And this theory argues that true economic power doesn't actually come from being the first to invent something. Instead, it comes from the widespread, intensive adoption of that technology across your entire economy over decades.
When you look at the causal diagrams for these two paths, the difference is pretty stark. The top path is your classic leading sector sprint. You invent it, you monopolize it. But the bottom path, the GPT mechanism, that is what historically leads to actual economic power transitions. It shows that differing institutional adaptations to new tech are what allow a state to capitalize on intensive diffusion. So it's really not about who makes the tech first. It's entirely about who uses it best.
So if you take away just one thing today, let it be this metaphor. The leading sector model, that's just a quick sprint in a really narrow lane. But true general-purpose technology adoption, that is a massive, decades-long marathon run on a very wide road.
Section 2. The diffusion paradigm.
Because, look, not all tech is created equal. A new design for a sleeping bag is great, sure, but it's not exactly going to shift global power dynamics. A true general-purpose technology, a true GPT, is defined by three things: continual improvement, incredibly broad applicability, and really powerful synergies with other technologies. Just like electricity and the steam engine back in the day, AI is a GPT. It holds this immense potential to boost productivity across the entire economy.
But, here's the catch. You can't just plug a GPT into the wall and watch your economy magically soar. Realizing the promise of a GPT requires massive structural changes. First, you need complementary innovations to support it. Second, you have to completely reorganize your factories or your businesses. And third, critically, you have to upgrade your workforce's technical skills. I mean, this is exactly why it took over 5 decades before electricity actually transformed manufacturing productivity.
Section 3. History's technological winners.
Let's look at how this actually played out during the 19th century chemical revolution. Germany played the leading sector game. They had the star scientists, the PhDs, and they secured a 90% monopoly on synthetic dyes. They got that early lead. But the United States? They played the GPT marathon. America lacked those star scientists, but they excelled at creating a workforce of what we call ordinary tweakers and implementers. They diffused basic chemical processes across countless industries. And because of that widespread adoption, America won the ultimate global economic victory.
Section 4. China's Productivity Challenge.
Okay, get ready for a bit of a record-scratch data point here. 43%. Between the years 2000 and 2017, China's total factor productivity, which is basically the true measure of a nation's economic efficiency, never surpassed 43% of the United States level. Now, obviously, China's overall economy is absolutely massive, but an actual economic power transition, where one great power takes the mantle of economic leadership from another, historically requires sustaining higher productivity growth. Total factor productivity is the ultimate engine of long-term growth, and as you can see, the efficiency gap here remains quite large. To really put that into perspective, let's compare China's current standing to Japan during the Third Industrial Revolution. Back in 1960, Japan's TFP was already at 63% of the US level before they even made their massive economic run. But China's peak TFP in recent decades sits much farther back, at 43%, which means China is starting its challenge from significantly further behind the productivity frontier than past rising powers did.
And we have to look impartially at the recent data too. In the decade right after the 2008 global financial crisis, China's total factor productivity growth actually slowed down, dropping from 2.8% down to 0.7%. This slowdown makes adapting to new technologies absolutely critical for China if they want to avoid the middle-income trap and sustain their historic economic rise.
Section 5. The AI Adoption Marathon.
So bringing it back to today, this means we really need to reevaluate those headlines we talked about earlier. Leading thinkers like Graham Allison and Eric Schmidt recently sounded the alarm, warning that China could overtake the US in applying AI in the current decade. But this perfectly illustrates how even top minds still fall for the leading sector myth. They're assuming AI will decisively alter the global power balance almost immediately in the 2020s.
But we've got to counter that hype with a dose of historical reality. The economic payoffs from a massive general-purpose technology like AI, they are a decades-long process. History shows it takes at least 3 or 4 decades for a fundamental GPT to produce a significant economy-wide productivity boost. It is not a sudden sprint, it is absolutely a marathon.
So how do you actually win a marathon like that? Well, you build this: GPT skill infrastructure. This right here is the true secret weapon for the fourth industrial revolution. The winner of the AI race won't just be the country that invents the smartest algorithm. The winner will be the nation that actively trains a massive, broad workforce of everyday engineers and implementers to embed AI into every single industry.
Building out a deep skill infrastructure is literally the ultimate competitive advantage. It helps you avoid that trap of just focusing on a narrow monopoly. It standardizes best practices everywhere, and it creates this vital bridge connecting the high-tech AI sector directly with traditional everyday application sectors like farming, manufacturing, and logistics. It's all about combining specific AI knowledge with broad, boots-on-the-ground implementation skills.
Because the core goal here isn't just to build the world's most brilliant, isolated Silicon Valley. No, the true goal of lasting economic dominance is connecting your Silicon Valleys directly to your Iowa cities. Widespread diffusion is what creates true, lasting economic power. Which brings us to our final thought. The next time you see an article totally panicking about who just released the fastest new AI model, I want you to remember the marathon. Ultimately, the real question isn't who will invent the best AI, but who's going to build the best infrastructure to adopt it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning what you read in those tech race headlines.